We help other companies build their software, essentially. But we get particularly excited when we're working with companies whose business is not, their core business is not technology. Obviously, we can talk a little bit about different types of sizes, but there's a huge spectrum from small to large companies that are not in tech.
Welcome to the Business Ownership Podcast, brought to you by Awareness Strategies, helping you navigate the waters between entrepreneurship and ownership. Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedlack, and I'm super glad that you're here with us today because I'm here with my most amazing guest, Steve. Steve, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Pleasure to be here, Michelle. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So give everybody the highlight of who you are and what you do for business.
I am the CEO of a digital services company. But who I am or what I am is probably a little different. So I'm a dad, new dad, actually newly appointed. Didn't have a baby, not dealing with diapers. We had a 9-year-old son join the family. So this is a very recent change. We're loving that, and also trying to figure out what life looks like now it's all been shredded and turned upside down. From there, we have 3 dogs. We live in Texas. Really enjoy reading, traveling, eating, probably a little bit too much. And I'm super passionate about what we do on the work front as well.
Nice. Well, congratulations for being a newly minted father.
Trying to figure it out.
Awesome. And when it comes to business and software, where does your passion lie?
Where doesn't it? So, I started life out thinking that engineering in general was cool, and decided to go with mechanical engineering. And about 2 years into my study, I realized that software was better, at least for me. We're going back a long time ago. This is like nearly 3 decades ago. So after that, I've never looked back. It's just all been around how to apply technology to solve business problems, really understanding the strategy of what you're trying to accomplish as a business, and then how to do it in the most efficient manner. And software is one of those things that when you're around it and it works well, you love it. When it's not working so well, or you're trying to build it from scratch, can often go the wrong way. So people get frustrated quickly, myself included.
Yes, we're having the current battles with the Google gods, the Zoom gods, the Microsoft gods, and all those tech gods that be. So when it comes to your latest project, what does your software do, or what are you hoping it'll do? Where are you in that process of creating it? What's going on for you?
Yeah, so we're a services company. So we help other companies build their software, essentially. But we get particularly excited when we're working with companies whose business is not, their core business is not technology. Obviously, we can talk a little bit about different types of sizes, but there's a huge spectrum from small to large companies that are not in tech, but yet the world will have them be in tech, whether they like it or not. And if the world doesn't, their competitors probably will. And it gets incredibly hard when you don't necessarily have the expertise to know how to build software professionally the way that the software manufacturers do it. And that's where I get particularly lit up about helping business owners, executive teams figure out what is it that they need to accomplish as a business. How's their strategy aligning to their digital strategy if they have one? And then how to actually go about building that, and helping them with thinking through everything from product market fit to how they're going to go to market, if this is a product that they need to build and expose to their clients, or whether this is an internal tool that's try to help them accelerate through technology with their core business. That opens up so many amazing conversations to have, and then starting to hear all the horror stories that they've already lived through, and the millions of dollars that they've wasted, or time that's been spent and just hasn't achieved what they were expecting, and then be able to actually deliver and execute and build the product as well alongside them. So that's where we focus.
Nice, love it. When once upon a time, it was if you want any software to do anything, you want a CRM, guess what? You're building it yourself. You want your, you want to maintain and track your inventory, guess what? You're building the software to do it.
Thank God those days are over, right?
Right? Like, yay, somebody else did it. I don't have to invent that crap anymore. So what kind of things now are people doing, and which ones to you are the kind of most fun or interesting?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. So the biggest challenge that people are trying to figure out right now, and I see these in three different categories often. So there's a group of companies that are doing tech. Their core business isn't necessarily technology, but they depend heavily on technology, and they've already invested heavily. They've built something. And it helps to facilitate their business, their core business. So one client, as an example, is in the luxury real estate space, and their entire business storefront is their website, and they have a huge investment in infrastructure that helps realtors build out their business and showcase all their luxury properties, etc. So those kind of companies, they're a little further along, and they're actively looking at how all of the buzzwords will fit into their business going forward. And I hate to use words like artificial intelligence because we're all hearing it from every angle. They're down the road on those kind of things, and they're thinking about what their products, their tool sets look like in the future. There's another group of companies that they're more service business. They may be in manufacturing, they may be in distribution. Think about traditional industries like oil and gas, or just good old-fashioned manufacturing. Some of those companies are undertaking technology projects, and they're trying to figure out their digital strategy. But they've also spent, these are the guys that I was talking about. These are the guys that have probably spent too much money, wasted too much time, and have lived through horrible experiences and are a little disillusioned and don't really know where to go from here out. They're not even thinking about the buzzwords. They're just trying to wrangle with, how do I keep up with expectations from customers, or how do I keep up with new players that are coming into my space, and they're being more technology first oriented with the way that they're solving some of their challenges. And then, of course, there's the big guys. So some of our larger clients have a massive technology team in the hundreds, and they're innovating all the time, but they're undergoing a revolution themselves, because these kind of businesses typically have had legacy software. They're trying to get it into the cloud still, to this day, and will continue to do so. So they're facing different types of challenges.
Right. So when it comes to the technology integration, are we talking like the Internet of Things, or are we talking smart appliances? Are we talking like what kind of, I want to say practicality, but I know that a ton of it. I'm hoping you know what I'm asking for this question is in what ways is technology in finding its way into their business?
Yeah, that's intriguing to ask, because it's not as future thinking as you might think.
It's like, no, they just gotta get rid of their Excel spreadsheet, damn it.
So one particular company that everybody knows, I'm not going to mention them, but they're global, they're huge. They've been around a long time. They're focused on building a platform in the cloud that will allow them to track, manage, procure, move, and deliver a bio product like blood. So think about where blood comes from us. So they have to launch campaigns, and it's in their business, that's like a marketing campaign to generate interest and get people out, go give blood. And then from the minute that you get them in your vehicle or on your site, their safety and the condition of the blood, the way that it's treated, that product is really important. It becomes a med device at this point, so highly regulated, and the control of it all the way through to making sure it goes in the right arm of the right patient in an emergency room is managed through the software. So it's all about quality and accuracy and precision of this information, and just the, you know, all the safeguards you would imagine that a bank needs to put in place to manage our finances. They have to do the same kind of thing on their front. With
They got to do that, and they have to monitor the temperature of the money going through.
That's right. Storing it at the right temperature.
All right, look, that's a huge concern. A lot of people don't think of that when it comes to the logistics of products and services. They're like, well, why not just use Amazon? Well, that's great. Other than Amazon can hold something for 6 months at 107 degrees and nobody cares. It's, well, somebody cares, and then that's why you quit moving your stuff through them. And then it becomes kind of cataclysmic that something like blood has to be used in a certain timeline. It has to have a certain temperature the whole way through. It can't have contaminants through it. It can't be next to certain things. Like there's a whole lot of something going on there. Let
me tell you about another really fascinating project that we're busy with. So this is you know, these are multi-year journeys. They're not things that you build overnight and just knock them out. This other project is for a company that is focused on identifying methane leaks out of the ground. And these are coming from basically infrastructure from the gas utilities that are giving up. So for every reason you can imagine, from old piping to just shifts in movement or faulty installation, whatever it may be. And the point of where the leak is detected isn't necessarily the same point of where the leak is coming from. The source could be 200 feet to the right, left, whatever. So they've built amazing hardware technology over decades of this company's history to help utilities identify these leaks and put them into a system where maintenance can actually take place and be prioritized, right? So the software now is getting to the point where the customers, the utility companies, are really wanting to push the envelope. They need digital, walkable, iPad type technology that allows them to see in real time the results that's coming from the instrumentation, to show them that there's a gas plume existing in wherever they're driving through or walking through, and then being able to accurately imagine where the source is and where the leak is, and then be able to manage around that. And as I got into this this client's idea, this vision, I started realizing very quickly what this looks like it could be in the future. For me, is imagine a system that is being way more predictive than that. You've not only told the system where your pipeline infrastructure is, you've also described the kind of material that was used when it was installed. You've got all of your history of all of your leaks in the past, from big to small, ground level detection, sky level, which they do in aircraft, and then satellite. All that data is in there. And you're then able to start forecasting and predicting where the likelihood is of future leaks based on the behavior of all of the history that we have here. So that becomes way more proactive, so we can actually get to a place where methane leaks are significantly reduced because they can proactively maintain or change infrastructure, which would be really cool.
Right. Wow. That is that is crazy. So and you know, just I'm in oil and gas country, so I'm going like the complexities of that and the things that they've started in place, like back in the 70s, you know, putting the little computer cards through the pipelines and getting the detections and the sensors on those. And I mean, it's just fantastical, the amount of data. That I think we underestimate how much data goes into that, and then being able to analyze it is super fun. So when somebody's thinking about working with you, are they at the problem stage? Are they halfway through the, we think this might work, let's go talk to Steve thing? Like, where are they at usually when they're coming to you, as opposed, you know, obviously we should have had this done yesterday. Come tell us what we should.
Yeah, wishful thinking. It's across the board, honestly. We have a female entrepreneur, single owner, single person business. She's been with us now for a couple of years, and she's building a tastings platform for wine. being an avid wine drinker. I love her, love what she's doing, and I love the project selfishly. So we have really small clients like that, and they often have something in hand when they arrive at our doorstep, and they're trying to figure out within their budget constraints how they're going to take this and get it to market in that case. And unfortunately, a lot of us entrepreneurs like to just go build the thing that we want to build, without getting that proven evidence that people are willing to give you money for it. And people waste a lot of money. And that's, if we get a partnership going with somebody at that stage, we immediately start steering them towards the likelier path of success, and really kind of force them to go through the due diligence, even though it slows them down and it's not what they want to hear, but it saves them money, and it saves them from not realizing their dream. We get the group that's in the middle. They're way down the road. Maybe they've had some bad experiences. Maybe they don't know how to take it to that next level. And that's where we come in, because we love to consult. We love that side of things, and it's often free. So we're talking to those business owners, or at this point, leadership teams, and really helping them think through what it is that they're trying to accomplish. And then we'll start solutioning with them. And it's often like getting on a plane and going to them, and getting in a room and getting a whiteboard, and locking yourself away for a day or two to really get into it. But making sure that their product roadmap really maps well to the business goals that they originally set out to achieve. And then there's the big guys. Any big guy listening does not want me to tell them how to do their business. They're like, no, we've been doing it for this long. We're making all these millions of dollars in revenue. We know what we're doing. We just need a company to support us with that augmentation piece, and occasionally give us access to expertise that we may not have. And that's where we step in and help them. Reliability and making sure that quality and productivity is really high for them.
I love it. And so when it comes to being able to kind of access you and your team, are there kind of certain people that are more apt in that whole process? Is it usually a CEO coming into you, or is there a project manager or somebody that's kind of like, hey, just want to have initial discussion, see if you're a right fit kind of thing? How does that usually work?
Yeah, so it really depends. So I get people reaching out to me, and I'll often want to own that relationship to the detriment of my team. Like, they'll be like, "What are you doing?" But when I meet a business owner or somebody trying to accomplish something, I get very invested very quickly. So I do enjoy those conversations personally. But we do have a team of really good senior consultants who've been around the block more times than many, and they love having those conversations, really helping figure out, like, is this the right fit culturally for our two organizations, and can we deliver what we think you need based on what we're hearing, and just go those extra clicks with them, and then they get passed into a nice, smooth process, hopefully.
Love it. Awesome. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you about a Cinderella story of one of your clients. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick break.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.
So I'm super excited to hear about a Cinderella story of one of your clients.
A Cinderella story. Gosh, I feel like every single one of our projects is somewhat of a Cinderella
I'm going to take
story.
next 6 hours and talk about all my clients.
Yeah, including our own business. So no, I think two different projects, two different clients jump to mind immediately. One was one of our early projects. It was one of those projects that when you hear it, you think, what? You really want to attempt to do that? It was an oddball project, but it was super fascinating, and it included working on some top secret type work that eventually, hopefully, has found its way into the DoD's hands. Another project was just kind of run of the mill, trying to build software with a team that has never done it professionally. Mainly working with their IT team and their resources they had available, but it was going off the rails, horribly wrong. The train's heading for the wreck, right? It was at that stage. So what do you think your readers, your audience would prefer to hear?
Oh, both. I gotta get both now. You can't intrigue me like that and then take it away.
All right, so let's go with the less cool one first. Sometimes you can have really smart people working on things, but if they've not had the chance to be there, done that, it's hard for them to realize when they're going wrong. And this particular client came to us a little stressed because they were running up against a long date out in the future that if they surpass that date, they would begin to they'll go from a contracted data center contract that was predictable to a monthly payment that was going to become very expensive and run them into the tune of millions of dollars in extra costs. So they really needed to constrain this project. It was a multi-year project. They were a year in and also a year behind already. And for every month they worked, they kept falling behind by a month or two every single month. And they couldn't understand why. So, the first thing that I did, start pulling on some threads and understanding how they've structured their teams and trying to really get into the nuts and bolts in the first call, I might add. So they probably really disliked me for this. But once I see that thread, I'm like, I got to pull it. So a few conversations in, you start realizing that, okay, they're not really thinking about the average working day and the number of hours, the viable number of hours to actually develop software correctly. They're not factoring in lots of other aspects of life, like issues, mistakes, vacation time. Like it was just, I would call them schoolboy errors that were baked in, and they just didn't see it. And the minute that you start organizing people differently, start thinking about how do you leverage additional roles to give some elasticity in the team for when things are going wrong, and how do you actually build that original plan the correct way, you'll start having more predictable outcomes. And that's exactly what we did. And to the point where they're like, okay, Steve, get out of my way. I know what I'm doing. Like, move aside. And that's what you want. You want your client to get there and feel that confidence, and also not have to keep going in front of the board and saying, like, please, sir, can I have some more?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would imagine it's really hard to do that, though. I'd always want to be like the guys up in the Muppets, just sitting in the balcony watching and going, just in case, just let me keep an eye on it.
Yeah, no, we stay in touch. We've got a large team in place in that customer. So we make up the majority of their engineering organization. We're definitely part of the driving force behind keeping the train on the track. But they definitely, they reached that point of maturation where they've got it. They know how to do it.
And the employees must enjoy that tremendously, because I know a lot of times the employees are like,
stress,
I don't know what's going wrong here, but there's something not right in Dodge.
Yeah, well, when you're being asked, the culture of that business prior, that team was the developers were complaining, like the actual domestic employee team was complaining that it felt like a sweatshop because they're under so much pressure all the time to deliver, and it wasn't their fault. They were going as fast as they could and doing as a professional job as possible within the time frame, but yet it was still out of whack, and they were being blamed. So once this was sorted out, you can imagine like the relief of people stopped leaving, put it that way.
Well, and I think especially in the software development, I think a lot of people don't realize that, when they have the visionaries have a vision of what they want the end product to look like, but you have to start by making something. And if you're always looking for the end product to be finished, it's Like, it's not finished until it's finished. So how do you have the KPIs in place to make sure that everybody's kind of rolling on the same, alley, let alone right,
Yes, the days gone by, we used to do this process called waterfall, and you'd spend months in a cave, thinking through the perfect product, and then you go build it, and at the end it'd be wrong. And thank God all those days are gone. Like, we now have a better process, a more agile, more responsive process to getting early feedback and recognizing when you're kind of veering a little bit away from what users need, and get that train back on that track. So companies that work through that process and really embrace it learn real fast. Actually, I can make a small investment and I can get something out real quick. It's not the perfect product, it's not the end product, it's not the big vision, but I now can start collecting feedback and get to that point iteratively to get to where they need to. And hopefully, one hopes that you can start generating revenue as well, right? So, or at least delivering value that people are willing to pay for. So that allows you to fund that project as well as you go.
Well, yeah. And then sometimes it's just allowing people to see what the vision is. Because I mean, it's kind of like reading the script to the Matrix and going, I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
It's not making any sense.
I
You
would
just
have been
make
one of those guys.
something for me that makes a little sense so I can buy into the dream and go, oh, okay, at least then you got that your sponsors or your board or your somebody is going, oh, okay, I get what you're talking about. Even if it's in a little increment of it, the trailer, so to speak.
Yeah, previews, right? You just nailed it, in my opinion, on how technology is done really well, and that is a sequence of small bets rather than thinking of if you're a small business, you may not have millions of dollars to go build something that you really want to build, but you will over time. So thinking about it not as a huge undertaking, and it's not going to require all this capital. You're going to approach it with the sequence of small bets and then work within your constraints, because you can always do something. Even if it's just a couple $100,000, there's always something that can be done within that budget that allows you to have a volley into and get that feedback, get that value, and put you on the right path. So I got to tell you about the other Cinderella story.
I was going to say, now
before we run out of time, this was a harebrained, crazy idea that some special forces guys dreamt up, and as a result, I can't talk about any details, which makes it really frustrating because you want to tell everybody everything, and you obviously you cannot. So they had this crazy idea, and it came out of nowhere. And the beautiful thing about it is it sounds nuts on paper, and then when you get into the minds of these guys, you started realizing that actually this makes more sense than you originally gave lip service to. You start realizing that they've taken a back to basics approach of like boots on the ground way of thinking about a complex problem, but then bringing digital sensors to the table and using them in a way that would mimic how a human would have gone about doing something. And I don't even know if I can describe this without confusing everybody. So the issue, I can tell you the issue. The issue is GPS just not being reliable or being denied. It's a huge problem for the Department of Defense, and a lot of people have been trying to solve this problem for a long time and have spent billions on it. These guys had this really curious, cool idea. We spent a year working with them. I will tell you, it was probably the most stressful project because they had the highest standards and the highest expectations I've ever met. No surprise coming out of Special Forces, and it was a big project. It was one of those things that's never been done. Nobody's ever built it, so we didn't know if it could work or if it could really be achieved. A year in, we got the MVP done, and they were on their way to go, I guess, talk to bigger organizations, defense contractors, to then take that to the next stage. Cool project. Hopefully they're doing well with it, but I'm not allowed to ask any questions. So
love to fill you in, but I can't. That is awesome. I love it. Well, for anybody out there listening who's got their special thing going, I don't know if I can trust anybody with this. Clearly a special forces can trust you and build with you, then, you got something right going on. That was awesome. I know our listeners are going to want more from you. How did they start that journey with you?
Yeah, you can find me personally on LinkedIn. Just search for Steve Russell, Upstart 13, or reach out to us through our website, Upstart 13, the number 13.com. There's plenty of ways to get in touch with us there, or follow us on LinkedIn or Facebook and all of the usual social media sites. We would love to hear what you're trying to accomplish. Love to hear lots of good ideas that people are working on or want to work on, or are just struggling. And if there's companies out there that are currently under the oppression of a bad partner, we really like rescue missions as well. So happy to talk to anybody.
That's awesome. I gotta ask, where did you get the name Upstart 13 from?
Whoa, that's a how long do we have question. So, my two co-founders, they were visiting Colombia in 2018, I believe now. They were there to look for pools of talent, and they were being shown around the city of Medellin by the local ministry. All the city officials rolling the red carpet out to these two American dudes. And one of the places that they insisted these guys go visit is a place called Comuna 13, or District 13. It's this remote over the hill location, a couple of hours drive out of Medellin. And it had this incredible history. It used to be a very violent, dangerous place. And through the years, I should also point out, like, this is not uncommon, right? So on the outskirts of these big cities, the government's reach wouldn't be present. So the narco organizations and different groups would act as kind of the official government, putting in infrastructure, schools, electricity, water, all those kind of things for the residents. And in return, they would expect to control the streets and run their organizations from there. District 13 was a place that eventually was won back by the government, and they were able to push all of the gangs out. And what happened in this vacuum was the gangs started communicating with each other through graffiti. So one gang would draw a mural and the other gang would answer by completing it. And as nobody could make this up. It is now this hotbed of street culture and art. There's dancers, musicians, artists of lots of different cloths living and working in this location, and tourists go there by the droves to go see all this and experience it. And these guys were there, and they obviously bewildered by this place because it's not what you would expect, but also really emotionally touched by how much poverty still exists. And even, my first visit was in 2022, 2023. I was chatting to a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old girl. These two sisters were pestering all the tourists at the pickup location of the bus to go back to the city. And I learned, like, the older one couldn't go to school because the school's not big enough. And her sister's in school, but she spends all of her day with her mom making pizzas on the street for tourists. And that's why we decided to put the 13 into the name, to remind ourselves, like, we built the business because we wanted to create opportunity where it didn't really exist. And we wanted to be intentional and selective over where we put what I think is high paid work, good careers, and an opportunity in a place that just was a vacuum. And 13, unlucky for some, happened to be really lucky for us, because now we're making a difference to those communities that we try to build and hire from and really invest in, and it drives our moral compass as a company. So that's where the 13 came from. Upstart, I have to say, there was not much magic. We was a startup. Not very creative.
Are we going around this backwards? I don't know. Let's name the company backwards and move forward. That's awesome. I love that story. You've been absolutely awesome. I get to ask you, at what point in life did you know you were special kind of crazy enough to think that you could become an entrepreneur?
I knew it as a kid. I just didn't have the spine or courage to do anything about it. It took a few years and a bit of gray hair.
Well, we're all glad that you did. And for those of us who are crazy enough and need some help, and we're glad that you're here. That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Steve. I appreciate it. And I know how valuable it is.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. Peeps, this is Michelle Nedelec. Thank you for being here with us today. Be sure to subscribe to the show, share it with your friends. We love helping entrepreneurs grow.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.